So let's start. Theruvan Saranai everyone. In the previous week, episode 10, we looked at Adinava. Firstly, we looked at Adinava, which is Anicca Dukkha Anatta, as Sanya, and then we understood that Sanya is getting together with wisdom. So Jnana ta Sang. So that is how Sanya happens. We looked at how Asada is created in the Mahapundama Sutra. Rupam paticca sukham somanassa Rupam paticca uppajjati sukham somanassang ayang rupe asada. That we have heard so many times. I'm sure you know about this now. Then we looked at, it is a good feeling, it is a pleasurable feeling, but is it a good one? Is it good for us? Then we talked about it, and we understood that it is a milana sukham, putajjana sukham, anarya sukham, nasevitabbam, bhayitabbam. So we need to be actually scared of that, because it is what is dragging us to the to the lower side, which is not good. And then rupang aniccham dukkham viparinama dhammam ayan rupe adinavo. So that is what adinava is. Rupang rupe chandaraga vinayo chandaraga pahanam idang rupe nissaranam. So that is what nissarana is. Asada, adinava and nissarana. Then we looked at anicca sanya in more detail, which is wisdom of anicca, spends all kamaraga, spends all ruparaga, spends all bhavaraga and avidya. So eliminates these. So the more you practice the anicca sanya, the more you get closer to the Nibbhana. And then we looked at adinava, as in the 9, that is taking you away from Nibbhana, or taking you through the sansara cycle, which are avidya, tanha, lobha, dosa, moha, subha sanya, sukha sanya, nicca sanya and atta sanya. Then we looked at the other side, which is the Navalokottara Sri Saddharma. Then again it's 9, which are samatha, vipassana, alobha, adosa, amoha, asubha sanya, then dukkha sanya, anicca sanya and anatta sanya. And these two matched. So this is what is taking you away from the world, or taking towards Nibbhana. Then we looked at Sankhata and Sankhara. We identified what Sankhata and Sankhara are. We also identified that Sankhara are not physical items, but Sankhata are the physical items. So Sankhata is something that was built or has been built by a collection of things. And we also identified through the Sankhata Lakkana Sutra, what are the characteristics of a Sankhata. There should be a birth, there should be a change and a death. Those are the characteristics of a Sankhata. Then asankhata, we looked at asankhata. What is the opposite of sankhata is asankhata. So the characteristics of asankhata are no birth, no death or no change. So those are the characteristics of asankhata. So everything including Arya-ashtangika marga are sankhata in the world. If there is anything in this world, that is sankhata. And only Nibbhana is asankhata. Then we looked at what sankhara are. Sankhatang abhisankaranti iti ko bhikkave tasma sankarati vucchati. So that is what sankhara is. Abhisankaranti iti. So you do sankhata and then abhisankara. Therefore it is sankhara. Right? So that is how abhisankara happens. And these sankhara can be kaya sankhara, vaci sankhara, or mano sankhara. Also we looked at this about the Rahatan Vahanse has sankhara but without raga, dvesha, moha, right? They are not abhisankhara, they are just sankhara, right? So kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara and mano sankhara can be without abhisankhara too. Then we moved on to Paticca Sampada Vibhanga. We looked at Tatta Katamo Avidya Pacca Sankhara. What is Avidya Pacca Sankhara? Ye chetana sanchetana sanchetana chetaitam ayang uchyati avidya pacca sankhara. So sanchetana is what avidya pacca sankhara is. So there are kaya sanchetana, kaya sankhara, vachi sanchetana, vachi sankhara, mano sanchetana, mano sankhara. Then with the we looked at the hetu. There are 6 reasons for anything, right? Alobha, adesha, amoha, lobha, dvesha, moha. Those are the reasons. The reasons that will take one through the samsara again, right? And then we looked at the different types of sankhara: punyabhi sankhara, apunyabhi sankhara, aninjabhi sankhara. Punyabhi sankhara are the punya, which are pin, which are merits. And then we looked at apunyabhi sankhara, immoral activities. And then aninjabhi sankhara, doing dhyana to get to arupavachara planes, right? And then kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara, mano sankhara, you understand now. Then we looked at Sumana Sutra, because we looked at Sumana Sutra to understand if doing merits is a good thing or bad thing. In that they have mentioned that dhanani datum punyani katum. Do as many merits as possible. It is good to do merits. It will create a meritorious environment so that it will help you to go to attain Nibbhana easily. That is what we looked at. Sabbe sankhara anicca, sabbe sankhara dukkha, sabbe dhamma anattati. So sabbe sankhara anicca. Anicca as in kayattena, dukkham bayattena, anattang asarakattenati. So these were the things that we discussed last week. Coming on to this week, episode 11. We start with what is Adinava of the Asvade. So you know Asvade, we looked at Adinava as well last week, but we are looking at it in further detail. Anicca Sanya, we are looking at Anicca Sanya. So how does this happen? You expected something. What did you expect? You expected happiness. But what happened? You ended up with suffering. So the result was a suffering, but your expectation was the pleasure or happiness. So it didn't really work, or it didn't really fulfill. So that is the Adinava. So the Adinava, in other words, is the problem. We think, everything is good, but there is a problem. That problem is the Adinava. And it's nothing to do with the permanence or impermanence thing. It is not talking about impermanence here. It is talking about not fulfilling, or in other words, not according to your like. This is the most important thing you need to understand, right? Moving on to what are jati dharma. I'm sure you have heard about jati. People talk about jati or jati. But what are jati? What are jati dharma or jati? In Majjhima Nikaya, Arya Pareshana Sutra, Kincha Bhikkave Jati Dhammanam Vadeta. So they ask him, what are jati? Putra Bharyam Bhikkave Jati Dhammanam. Dasidasam Bhikkave Jati Dhamma. Ajilakam Jati Dhamma. Dukkuta Sukaram Jatidam. So what they are saying is Putra Bharyam is your sons and your wife are Jati Dharma. Dasidasa means your servants are Jati Dharma. Goats, sheep, chicken, pigs, elephants, horses, cows, gold, silver. These are all Jati Dharma. So it is explained in the Arya Parishana Sutra. So some people in some books, Jati is explained as the birth. So that is what we are trying to get at. Jati is not about the birth. It's not about a suffering in birth. It is about how this Jati, or Jati is another word for kinds, different kinds or different types. It could be anything, can be a Jati. But how this Jati will end up arising a suffering is what is explained. Right? If there is anything that will help any birth or to arise of the 5 desires, the Panchakama, they are Jati Dhamma. So that is what is explained in the Arya Parishana Sutra. And also they are talking about the Kincha Bhikkave Jara Dhammana Vadita. Then asking about the Jara Dhamma. What are Jara Dhamma? Again, in the same sutra they are asking Kincha Bhikkave Vyadi Dharma Vadita. Kincha Bhikkave Marana Dhammana Vadita. So they are asking about all these. And the answer to all of these are the same. Right? I will explain further when I explain how it is created, the suffering is created, then you will understand clearly what I am talking about. Otherwise you will be not sure as to what this is. Right? Then in Mahasatipatthāna Sutra, we are talking about the same thing now. We are talking about the Jati Dhamma. We are trying to understand how a suffering is created through Jati Dhamma. So in the Mahasatipatthāna Sutra, Digha Nikaya 2, Katamacha Bhikkave Jati. They are asking the same question. Ya tesan sattanam tamhi satta nikaye jati sanjati okkanti abhinibbanti khandhanam patubhavo ayatanam patilabho ayang uchchati bhikkave jati. Now they are explaining jati again here. Jati sanjati, then okkanti abhinibbanti. So how the asada is created is what is explained here. Right? They are saying jati, then you attach with ragadesha moha, and then you create internally, you do the internal creation, and then it comes ayatanam patilabho is ayatana, is salayatana. So how the paticca samuppada cycle works and get to the asade, or in other words sampassaja vedana. So that is what is explained here. Right? And in the same sutra, it is the same with Jara Marana Soka. When one gets attached is when he creates the Jara Marana Soka Parideva sufferings. Moving on to Arya Dukkha. So it is, we are talking about the same thing. We are trying to understand the Jati Dhamma or Jati Pi Dukkha. Right? Katancha Bhikkave Yampicca Nalabati Tampi Dukkha. I am sure you have heard this before. Yampicca Nalabati Tampi Dukkha. This is a very, very important phrase. Jati Dhammanam Bhikkave Sattanam Evang Icca Uppajjati. Aho Atamayang Jati Dhamma Assama. Nachavatano Jati Agacchayanti. Nako Panitang Iccaya Pattabbang. Idampi Yampiccan Nalabati Tampi Dukkha. I will explain this clearly. And the same thing goes to Jara Dhammanam Bhikkave Sattanang Eva Icca Uppajjati. Again, Marana Dhammanam Bhikkave Sattang Evang Icca Uppajjati. So what they are explaining is, it is also explained actually in Saccavibhanga Sutra very clearly. So let's discuss in properly when we get to the Saccavibhanga Sutra. Until then, we'll try to understand where they have talked about Jati Dhamma, right? And then at the end they are talking about idampi yampichan nalabati tampi dukkhaṃ, and then they are saying, oh, this idampi yampichan nalabati tampi dukkhaṃ can be applied to all of these jati, jara, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domanassa, upayasa. Everything can be explained by using idampi yampichan nalabati tampi dukkhaṃ. We'll see what they are saying, right? Desire will not be fulfilled by jati, jara, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domanassa, upayasa. So what happens here is this. It could be anything, like I said before. It could be any kind, any type. So it could be, say, we'll take one example. What they are saying is jati dhammanam bhikkhave sattanam evaṃ icchā uppajjati. Uppajjati. Icchā uppajjati. Icchā is a desire. Icchā is a like. So this like happens. You see something, you see something, and then the icchā, the desire happens in your mind. What is the icchā? You want this to be like this, or this to not be like this. Say for example, you want certain things to happen, and you don't want certain things to happen. So those are your desires, right? And again, you have some certain things, you don't want them to change. Certain things you want them to change. Certain things you don't want to lose them, you don't want them to, die. Certain things you want them to die, or you want to get rid of some things. You don't want them to be there. But the problem is, right? Aho vatameyanna jati dhamma assāma naca vatano jati āgacchayāti nako panītaṃ iccāya pattabbhaṃ. Although you want them to be like this, although you want them to happen that way, it doesn't happen according to your like. Just because you want that to happen this way, it doesn't happen that way. So you are just creating a desire, a like, and you're suffering because you created the like. It happens with the jara, it happens with the marana, with everything. Soka, parideva, you don't want certain types of sufferings or worries. But just because you don't want that kind of worry doesn't mean that you're not going to get that worry. So when you get that worry, you start suffering. So that is how you create it. So you create a like and a dislike in your mind. So that is why all these are linked, and all these can be explained by idampi yampiccang nalabati tampi dukkhaṃ. It doesn't happen the way you like, and that is what is causing the suffering. So the problem is inside, in you. So that is what they are saying. Because of the like, because of the desire, because of the trishna is what, and trishna is the reason. Again it links properly. There is no problem with that, right? So trishna must be the reason for the suffering. Here you go. Trishna was the reason. Why? That is when you attach, you created a like. If you didn't create a like or dislike, then you won't suffer. It doesn't matter to you what happens, right? So desire will not be fulfilled by jati, jara, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domanassa, upayasa. Anicca. So iccha is there, but it is anicca. Anicca is, that is why anicca is the dukkha arya satya. Cause of arya dukkha is anicca. Not fulfilling. Desire of the six senses. You want to fulfill the six senses. Yampechan nalabati tampi dukkhaṃ. It doesn't happen. Moving on to Priya Jatika Sutra. There is a sutra called Priya Jatika Sutra. Priya. Priya is something that you like. Priya. So Priya Jatika Sutra. A man loses his son. He loved his son so much, and the son died. Now he goes to the cemetery and he's crying, where is my son? Come back, where is he? I want my son back. Now he's crying. He can't bear it. And now, this is where the real Buddhism is. Now, this finally this man goes to Tathāgatān Vahanse, goes and meets Lord Buddha, and he asks, I lost my son. He was the treasure I had. I don't need anything else. This is the only thing I wanted. He was the only thing I wanted in my whole world. He was my world. And then Tathāgatān Vahanse is saying, these things that you love most gives the most suffering. This I am pretty sure we talked about this before as well. I asked you to write down a list of the people who love most, from top to bottom, say 1 to 10. You write number 1 as the person who you love most, up to 10, and then you keep that list aside, and you write down a list of the people who are most important for you, from 1 to 10, from the most important go down to 10, and then you write another list down. The third list is list of the people who you will worry most or suffer most if they die. You write a third list. So the suffering, the most suffering on top, on the third list. So now if you take these 3 lists, they will match. So the most loved person will give you the most suffering. So that is something that normal people don't see. They don't see that, oh, loving is giving them a suffering. But that is what suffering is about. So the more you attach, the more you suffer. So that is what he's saying here. We think what we love gives us asada. That's what we think, the gratification or pleasure. But eventually what happens is that is what gives the most suffering. Right? The man was not happy. He wasn't happy at all. He didn't want to listen to this. He was blaming Tathāgatān Vahanse, and he just walked off. Not everyone understands, right? Not everyone comprehends Dhamma. So this is one person who didn't comprehend Dhamma. And then so this is what is explained in most places in the Thripitaka. So this, you need to understand, this is what is Priya. Priya is the problem. And when you see dukkha, they ask you to look at it this way. Look at something. When you have to look at something, don't look at it with a desire. Don't look at it with a like. Just look at it without a like. Try to take the like off it and try to look at it. Because if you like it, what happens is you will cover all the sufferings. You are not going to see the sufferings. The sufferings will be covered by the desire or the like. So that is how it's going to block your mind. Say for example, you go to buy a car. Now you're looking at the cars. All of a sudden you see this special car. You're like, wow, this is cool. I need this. Once you decided you need that and you are in love with it, even if the person in the shop says, oh, there is a slight problem in this car, you'll be like, oh, it's only a slight problem. I think that's okay. So you will be like, you're not going to think prudently after that, because you're covered with the delusions after that because of the avidya and trishna. So that is what happened, right? So that is something that you need to understand. Pirisinda dakinda. That is how they say priya. Pirisindino, as in get rid of the priya bhava. Priya is the like or the desire. Get rid of the like and then look at it. Then you will see, like you want a child. Rather than you look at it that way, you think, oh, there is a child. That's not my child. Let's look at it that way and see if I'm going to like the process of bringing up someone. Rather than thinking, no, this is my child. The moment you think, oh, this is my child, you're in love. You're like, oh, this is my son. He's going to be like me. And that is when all the avidya and trishna comes into play. And then it's going to cover your wisdom. You're not going to see through properly after that. So that is the problem, right? Let's move on. So jati are kinds. By getting paticca with jati, it creates jati pi dukkha. Jati pi. Pi is for the priya bhava. That's why they say jati pi dukkha. The moment you attach with it lustfully, it will create a suffering. Right? That is also the asada. Cause of Arya Dukkha, preached by Sariputta Thero. It is the same thing now in detail in the Majjhima Nikaya 3 Saccavibhanga Sutraya. Katamancha auso dukkhang arya satchang. So they are asking, what is dukkhang arya satchang? Jatipi dukkha, jarapi dukkha, maranampi dukkha, soka parideva dukkha domanasa upayasa pi dukkha, yampichan nalabati tampi dukkha. So they are explaining about this. These are the sufferings. These are the dukkhang arya satchang. This is what dukkha arya satcha is. Then at the end they are asking katamanchauso yampichan nalabati tampi dukkha. What is yampichan nalabati tampi dukkha? Then he explains jati dhammanang auso sattanam evang iccha uppajjati. Aho vatamayana jati dhammana assama nachavatano jati agacchayati nako panitang icchaya pattabbang idampi yampichan labati tampi dukkha. This in simple words, it's this sattva gets this kind of desire, right? What if we don't get this kind, or not getting, or getting a kind is not to do with the desire. So they think, okay, I don't want these kind of things, but whether he gets that kind or doesn't get that kind has nothing to do with his like. This is what is called idampi yampicha nalabati tampi dukkha. So it just happens for reasons, but just because you attach with desire, it's creating you the suffering. The same with jara, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domanasa, upayasa. So jati pi dukkha is this, not something. So this is not something anyone will understand, right? Jati pi dukkha is, that is why it is a dukkhang arya satcha. So that is a noble truth. Moving on to the next topic, which is more definitions to anicca. We are talking about anicca, dukkha, anatta mostly because that is what Dhamma is about, right? The more you understand anicca, dukkha, anatta, the more you walk the path. So Anguttara Nikaya 6 Girimananda Sutra, I think we looked at this before as well. Khatamachananda sabba sankaresu anicca sanya idananda bhikkhu sabba sankareti atti yati harayati jigucchati ayang ucchatananda sabba sankaresu anicca sanya. So anicca sanya is the atti yati, harayati and jigucchati. So atti yati is like looking at a bone. Harayati, there is no harayak, there is no trunk in the banana tree. Jigu is what we let out, ji and gu. Same thing explained in the Pena Pindupama Sutra as asara. So in the Pena Pindupama Sutra, we looked at it a couple of times as well. They are talking about the world as asara, as something that is not important, right? And moving on to the Iccha Sutra, Samyukta Nikaya 1 Iccha Sutra. What does one attach with? Iccha, desire, Iccha. Like. So what does one attach with? What does one detach from? What does one get rid of to get rid of all clingings? So these are the questions they are asking. You attach with Trishna. You detach by letting Trishna. You get rid of the Trishna to get rid of all the clingings. So Trishna is what you need to get rid of. Or in other words, Tanha. Or in other words, the like or the desire. Moving on to the next one, which is, what is Vijja? They are asking, what is Vijja? They say Vijja, what is Vijja? Dutiya Asada Sutra, Samyukta Nikaya 3. Rupassa Asadancha Adinavancha Nissaranancha Yatabhutam Panyati. So that is what Vijja is. So when one comprehends Asada, Adinava, Nissarana, that person comes to Vijja. Right? Then moving on to the next sutra, which is Avijja Sutra. So what is Avijja? Is there anything that will get rid of Avijja and get Vijja? In there it's asking, is there anything that will get rid of the Avijja and get the Vijja? Anicca will get rid of Avijja and bring in Vijja. So they are saying Anicca is what you need to do in order to get rid of the Avijja and get to Vijja. So Vijja, in order to get to Vijja, what you need to do is Anicca Sanya. Right? That is why it's been explained so many times. Anicca Sanya is also, you can say, Udayavya Jnana. Let's get to Udayavya Jnana. I'm sure we have looked at Udayavya Jnana as well. Satokari Jnana Niddesa and Udayavya Jnana Niddesa. In there it's explained how the Udaya, when Udaya happens, you understand, if one gets to know the Udaya, he understands 25 characteristics of the Udaya. And when one understands the Vaya, he understands the 25 characteristics that with Vaya. So we look at the Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, and how the Rupa is Samudaya, Rupa Samudaya, how the Rupa is born, basically, right? And Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. When I say born, Sang Uda, that is what you need to get to. The meaning is Sang Uda, right? Avidya Samudaya, Rupa Samudaya. Tanha Samudaya, Rupa Samudaya. Karma Samudaya, Rupa Samudaya. Ahara Samudaya, Rupa Samudaya. Nibbati Lakkanam, Rupa Samudaya. So what is this? So the same way, Vedana, Avidya Samudaya, Vedana Samudaya. Trishna Samudaya, Vedana Samudaya. Karma Samudaya, Vedana Samudaya. Ahara Samudaya, Vedana Samudaya. Nibbati Lakkanam, Vedana Samudaya. So these 5 can be applied to all the 5 aggregates. So what you understand what Avidya is, we looked at Avidya. Trishna, you understand what Trishna is. Karma is the karma, you know karma, and ahara are the food, as in what you provide to make it more strengthened, kind of thing. And nibbati is the production. So that is what nibbati lakkana is. And then after seeing the 25, the same 25 vaya, when it comes to the vaya, it's the avidya nirodha, rupa nirodho. Trishna nirodha, rupa nirodho. Karma nirodha, rupa nirodho. So how you stop the samudaya, as in not create. So niruddha. So that is the That is the Udaya Vijnana. Then we move on to the next one, which is Dukkham Bhayattena. Dukkham Bhayattena. We looked at the dukkha. Why? Because our mind gets corrupted by the raga, dvesha, moha, hence need to be scared. Again, we are just catching up on the same things that we looked at before. Dukkham Bhayattena. Why should we look at this that way? Because this is the same thing, the asada they are talking about. So this, why do we need to be scared of asada? Because it's giving us pleasure and happiness. Why? Because it's corrupting the mind. That is why. Sabbe dhamma anattāt. So the next thing is Sabbe dhamma anattāti. What is Sabbe dhamma anattāti? Patisanghitamagga prakarane Mahāvaggo Najirati. Attain, Attha and Anatta is explained in here, and then it says Anattang asara kattenāti. We have been talking about this Anattang asara kattenāti many times, but where you can find this is in the Mahāvaggo Najirati. In the Patisanghitamagga prakarane, it says Anattang asara kattenāti. Sara is valuable, important. Asara is valueless or not important. So that is what anatta means. Then there is a sutra called Attha Sutra. Attha is the opposite of anatta. Attancha vo bhikkhave desasami. Anattancha ko bhikkhave no, not anatta, sorry. Kathamo cha bhikkhave atto. They are asking what is atta. And then first actually they are asking about what is anatta. Kathamo cha bhikkhave anatto. What is anatta? So what is not valuable? What is not important? What is anatta or what is asara? Micca ditti, micca sankappa, micca vacha, micca ditti, micca sankappa, micca vacha, micca ajiva, micca vayama, micca sati, so on and so forth. It goes up to micca vimukti. Ayam uchchati bhikkhave anatto. So those are what are not important, or those are the anatta. And then they are talking about what is atta. Kathamacha bhikkhave atto. Samma ditti, samma sankappa, samma vacha, samma kammanta, ajiva, vayama, sati, samadhi. They are up to vimukti, samma vimukti. Ayang uchchati bhikkhave atto. Those are the important things. Those are the valuable things. So they are talking about this in the Attha Sutra. Right? So anatta refers to valueless and worthless. Why this is very important is because most of the books, they have translated this into selfless, anatma. So anatma is wrong, not anatma, it is anatta, and anatta is not valuable, not important. Then we move on to the next one, which is Niccang Duang, Aniccang Adduang. So we need to understand these words. What is Nicca? What is Duang? What is Aniccang? What is Adduang? In the same sutra, they are talking about Idam Niccang, Idam Duang. So it is, the point we are trying to get at is these are two words that give two different meanings. So this Nicca and Dua are two different things. Dua means permanent. So that is what we are trying to get at. Adduang means impermanent. In the same sutra, they are talking about Anicca and Adduang. So Anicca is a different meaning and Adduang is a different meaning. So that is what we are trying to get at, because people in most of the books, again, they have translated anicca as impermanent, which is wrong. So duang is permanent, adduang is impermanent. Niccang is complacent or fulfilling. Aniccang is not fulfilling or insatiable. So that is what you need to know, you need to understand. And also moving on, in the Thripitaka itself, they have explained about permanent things. So if they are saying sabbang aniccang in the Thripitaka itself, sabbang aniccang, so if anicca means impermanence, they will not talk about permanent things in the Thripitaka. So that is what we are trying to get at. Permanent things described in Thripitaka, sabbang aniccang. In the Tatha Sutra, there is a sutra called Tatha. I am sure we talked about this, Tatha Agata as well. Tatha is that does not change, something that doesn't change. Tatha Sutra in the Samyukta Nikaya 5. Chattarimani bhikkave tathani avitatani anyatatani. Here they are explaining about 4 things that does not change. The 4 things. Idan dukkhanti bhikkave tathametam avitatametam ananyatametam. Dukkha samudayanti bhikkave tathametam avitatametam ananyatametam. Ayam dukkha nirodhanti bhikkave tathametam avitatametam ananyatametam. Ayam dukkha nirodhagaminya patipadati bhikkave tathametam avitatametam ananyatametam. So what they are saying is, the 4 noble truths, that's what they are talking about, they do not change. They are tatha. They are permanent. So it doesn't matter what Buddha explains it. The 4 noble truths are the 4 noble truths. It doesn't matter who explains it, right? They are permanent. And then paticca samuppada is, it doesn't change. It doesn't matter who explains it. Arashtangika margya, the eightfold path, it doesn't change. And there are so many things that do not change. Like the panchanantariya papa karma, there are 5. If one does any of those 5, that person will definitely go to hell. That is a tatha, that is a permanent thing, right? And moving on to the next sutra, the name of the sutra is Najirati Sutra. Najirati. Jirati is depreciate. Najirati is does not depreciate. So they are asking, what depreciates and what does not depreciate? From Lord Buddha. I think it's a god who comes in and asks. It says, Rupan jirati machanang namagottan najirati. Rupan jirati. Namagottan najirati. So what are namagotra? So he is saying in here, in the Thripitaka itself, says it does not change. It does not depreciate. It will stay. It will stay permanent. So what are namagotra? Namagotra, for us to look at namagotra, there is a sutra called Gotamukha Sutra in the Majjhima Nikaya. When one gets to, when one achieves the 4th dhyana, right? He gets the Purve Nivasa Nussati Jnana. So this jnana, this wisdom, through this he can go to his previous lives. He can look at his previous lives through this. So when you get to the Chaturthya Dhyana or the 4th Dhyana, there is no avidya. And through this, he can develop a wisdom where he can look at his previous lives. So when someone is looking at his or her previous lives, how you look at it is through this Nama Gotra. So you read the Nama Gotra and explain the past lives. So that is how Tathāgatayan Vahanse explained. When Dipankara Lord Buddha was there, that is when he got the blessings, first blessings from the Dipankara Buddhājanan Vahanse. So otherwise you wouldn't be able to know what happened in the past life or the life before that. That's how you say, in this life I was a man, and of this age, and when I was at this age I was looking like this, I was wearing this, I was walking this way, my face and my haircut was this and that. So that is how you can explain, by reading the Nama Gotra. So those do not change. If they change, then it would disappear after some time. So that is why you can go further and further to the back and then see through properly.